Assalamu alaikum. Hope all of you are fine. This is our lecture about the histology of the muscles in continuation of the histology of the muscles previous. In this lecture, we'll discuss the skeletal muscles, the development of the skeletal muscles, their connective tissue coverings, the histological features of the skeletal muscles, both the light microscopic and the electron microscopic appearance of the skeletal muscles, and the few of the medical applications. The skeletal muscles, they are one of the three major types of the muscles. The others are like the cardiac and the smooth muscles. So these skeletal muscles, they are the striated muscles. They are voluntary under the control of the somatic nervous system. And most of the skeletal muscles, they are attached to the bones and they help in the locomotion. The skeletal muscles, they are derived from the mesenchyme which develops into the myoblast cells. These myoblast cells, they fuse to form the long myotubes. These myotubes, they synthesize the proteins to form the myofilaments, and soon the sarcoplasm is organized into the myofilaments. The later the differentiation, it continues, and the myofilaments, they differentiate into the functional myofilaments, and the striated appearance striations appears on the light microscope. These myotubes they fuse to form the multinucleated cylindrical muscle fiber, and these nuclei, they tend to lie under the cell membrane or the sarcolemma, and few of the myoblasts, they do not differentiate into the myotubes and they remain on outside as the satellite cells. These satellite cells, which are close to the sarcolemma, they are the progenitor cells, and they can give rise to the muscle fiber in case of the muscle injury. The muscle fiber is covered by the connective tissue coverings. The whole muscle fiber is covered by a connective tissue sheath, which is called the epimysium. The epimysium encircles all of the fascicle and to form a complete muscle. This epimysium sends the septas inside the muscle to divide the muscle into the different muscle bundles or the muscle fascicles. So each muscle bundle or the fascicle is surrounded by the connective tissue sheath, which is called the perimysium. Now, the epimysium transmits the major blood vessels and nerves and lymphatics to the inside of these septas, and through the perimysium, the branches of these vessels and the nerves, they go inside to the substance or the bundle of the muscles. So perimysium, it encircles this group of the muscle fibers, this forming the muscle fascicle, and this muscle fascicle or the bundle of the muscles, they are the functional and the structural units of the muscle. Now, perimysium, it sends the connective tissue sheets around into the muscle fascicles, and the endomysium, it surrounds the each muscle fiber. And the smaller vessels like the capillaries, they reach the muscle in this they reach through this endomysium to the muscle fibers. This is photomicrograph showing you this connective tissue organization of this muscle, and this is a perimysium showing you the division of the muscle into different muscle fascicles, and these muscle fascicles, they are all surrounded by the perimysium. So this muscle fascicle or they divides into different muscle fibers, and these muscle fibers, they are surrounded by the endomysium. Now you can see here the nuclei of the skeletal muscles, they are arranged peripherally. So the major the blood vessels, they will pass through these septas and inside to the muscle fibers. Only the small capillaries can reach here. Now you can see here the cylindrical muscle the fibers, and they give a striated appearance. And in between you can see the endomysium. Now, the longitudinal section of the skeletal muscle, the fibers shows the striated cylindrical appearance of the myofibrils. There are several myofibrils, and you can see these are arranged parallelly. And these myofibrils, they show the organization of the sarcoplasm into the light and the dark bands. Now these dark bands, they are called the A bands or the anisotropic bands, which are the anisotropic in a polarized light, and whereas I bands, the isotropic in a polarized light. Now, the cell membrane of the muscle fiber is called the sarcolemma, and the cytoplasm is called the sarcoplasm. So, the nuclei, they lie peripherally under the sarcolemma, and you can appreciate the capillaries in the endomysium. This is the transfer section of the skeletal muscle, and you can appreciate the peripherally placed nuclei of the multinuclei of the skeletal muscle fiber under the sarcolemma. So this muscle fiber or is arranged into the many myofibrils, and each myofibril has the structural and the functional unit of the muscle, that is the sarcomere. So the sarcomere is the structural and functional unit, and it is the basic contractile unit of the muscle fiber. Now you can see that this sarcomere, it extends from one Z disc to the other Z disc, and these A bands or the dark bands, they are arranged in the centers, whereas the light bands or the I bands, they are on the sides. Now these A bands or the dark bands or the thick filaments, they are the myosin filaments, and they are the myosin filaments, and they show the lighter area in between, which is called the H zone. And H zone has a transection of the M line in between them. Now the sarcolemma, which is the cell membrane of the muscle fiber, you can see here that the sarcolemma, it invaginates, or it gives the invaginations inside in the form of the transverse tubules or the T tubules. Now this transverse tubules or the T tubules, it extends into the sarcoplasm or the substance of the muscle fiber. Now, the smooth endoplasmic reticulum is organized in the form of sarcoplasmic reticulum, and it encircles each myofibril. Now, these T tubules, along with this sarcoplasmic the reticulum, they surrounds each of the myofibril. The T tubules, they join each myofibril at the junction of the A and I bands. Now these T tubules, they have two terminal cisterns, or right and left on each side. So this T tubule, in the longitudinal section, you can see here that these T tubules, along with this terminal cisterns, they form a triad. Now this triad is responsible for the depolarization of the sarcolemma in a T tubule to affect the sarcoplasmic reticulum, and it triggers the release of the calcium ions into the cytoplasm along the thick and the thin filaments, which initiates the contraction of the sarcomere. So the organization of these light and dark bands, which are called the thick and the thin filaments. Now what are these thick and the thin filaments of the sarcomere? So you can see here there's one sarcomere, or the structural and the functional unit of the contraction of the muscle fiber. Now, in each myofibril, you can see the light and the dark bands, or the thick and the thin filaments, arranged together. Now, these thick filaments, or the A bands, they are made up of the protein filaments, which are called the myosin molecules. Now, these myosin molecules, they have the light chains and the heavy chains, and they have a globular head. So these tails, they are formed from the myosin filaments tails, which are wind up together, and these globular heads, they are arranged towards one side. So the tails, they are towards one side, and the myosin heads, they are towards one side. So these thick filaments, They are made up of the myosin proteins. Now you can see here in the light area or the eye band area, there is a special protein which is called the titin, which is contractile elastic the filament, and it enables the myosin filaments to attach to the Z discs. So you can see here the thick filaments and their myosin heads projecting towards the one side. Whereas these thin filaments, they are made up of the two protein molecules, the troponin and the tropomyosin, and these actin filaments which are wind together by over each other. So this is the longitudinal section of the filaments with one sarcomere of a myofibril. Now we can see that these thick filaments, these thick filaments, the myosin heads, they are arranged on one side and their tails are on one side. So the myosin heads, they protrude from their tails. Now these myosin heads, they have an actin binding site over them, and the tails, they are towards one side, and these actin binding sites, they are bind in the form in the presence of the ATPs. Whereas in the thin filaments, there are two proteins, the troponin and the tropomyosin. The tropomyosin lies in a groove between the two actin filaments, and it has the troponin molecule is made up of the three subunits, and it is attached over the tropomyosin. So you can see here the actin subunits which have the active sites for the myosin attachments. So during the contraction, nor the thick bands nor the light bands that change their position. The contraction takes place when or they overlap with each other because the Z discs, they come close to each other. So this is all of the organization of the myofibril into the different bands and the different proteins which are present in this structural and the functional unit. So there are a few of the medical applications like the muscular spasm, the muscular dystrophies, the muscular paralysis, hypertrophy, the disc atrophy, and the pseudoatrophy. This is a diagram showing you the neurogenic atrophy in which the neuromuscular junction is affected, or the nerve is innervated, the muscle fiber is de-innervated, and you can see here the normal muscle in this part of the diagram, whereas this part shows you the small segment of the atrophied region in the visible next to the healthy area. And then you can see here in this diagram that these myofibers, they are deprived of the innervation, and they are non-functional, and the contractile units, they are broken down. The cells, they diminish in size and sit idle. The term used hypertrophy and hyperplasia for the muscle fibers. In the hypertrophy, there is an increase in the thickness of the muscle fibers or the myofibrils, whereas in the hyperplasia, there is increase in the number of the muscle fibers. So there are a group of the disorders of the muscular dystrophies which are called the Duchenne muscular dystrophies. And in these Duchenne muscular dystrophies, it is characterized by the progressive weakness of the skeletal muscles. It is a genetic disorder, and it is caused by the absence of a protein which is called the dystrophin. And it keeps the dystrophin, which is a protein that keeps the muscles intact. This is a diagram showing you the myasthenia gravis. In this myasthenia gravis, which is an autoimmune disease, and in this antibodies, they are formed against the acetylcholine receptors. Therefore, these receptors, they will be blocked, and nerve transmission is blocked. So there is a weakness of the skeletal muscles, especially that it is shown as the ptosis, and so the breathing muscles, they are also affected. So this is all about the histology of the muscles, and we have completed the histology of the skeletal muscles, and previously we have discussed the histology of the cardiac and the smooth muscles. Thank you.